go through how to set up your camera to start out. So we have a couple of different things with us to start out. Here is our tripod, which comes in the big long box. Unpack it. When you unpack it, it's going to look pretty much like this. This is the handle that's going to be a little bit further down, but we'll show you how to work that thing in a little bit. AC adapter for the camera as well. This is to plug it in. We also have the sunshade for the camera as well. We have the onboard microphone and its holder that attaches to the camera. And last but not least, we have this little thing. This is the tripod plate. We also have our bag to protect all of our equipment, which is always key and important. And I've gone ahead and taken my camera out and put it in the bag. So here it is. Here's our fancy-dancy Sony HD camera. You can see how it'll open up. It has its little display here. We'll go through its settings and features here in just a little bit. We also have a small InfoLithium Active Force battery for this camera. And when you get the camera, the battery is not charged. It only has about 4 minutes worth of power to begin with. So to start out, we'll show you how to set up the camera so that everything is ready to go. First of all, the first thing I like to set up with this camera is going to be your tripod plate because this is going to be critically important for making sure you have good steady interviews, and you're really never going to take this thing off of the bottom of your camera anyway. So if you look at the bottom of your camera, you'll see a little silver hole right here. I don't know if you can see it that well in this video, but if you take a look, it's actually got a place where you can screw this plate in, and then there's another part of the plate just ahead of it. There's a little black hole right there, and there's a little black peg on the tripod plate. So when you do it with me, you'll see it. You just match up those two holes on the bottom of the camera like so, and then you see the bottom of the tripod plate. There's a thing that looks like a space for a flathead screwdriver and this knob here that you can just screw this in by hand. Make sure you do it nice and securely, not too tight because you don't want to break it. But you just turn it, and those two holes match up, and boom, your tripod plate is attached to your camera. You'll be able to check it right there and make sure it's, like I said, nice and tight, and you'll be able to attach the camera to the tripod. Now, let's take a look at the front of the camera. You see right here is the lens in the front, and at the very top is a flash for when you take still photography. But when you take video and you're outside in the sun, you're going to want this sunshade here to go over the camera. Now take a look closely. You'll see this little notch on the back of the sunshade. This is going to connect to another notch on the camera when you're looking at the lens. It's sort of in the lower left-hand corner of that circle there. So you're going to want to match those two parts up. Now that's going to hold it in place, but it's not going to click. If you look on the inside of the lens cover rather, you'll see it says release and lock. And what you want to do is turn this inner ring, and what that's going to do is it's going to tighten the sunshade like this. So you turn it clockwise, and eventually you'll feel it tighten up. And then that's going to secure the sunshade on your Sony camera so that it looks like that. All right, next up we have the microphone. Onboard microphone right here. See, it's because it's kind of bad that I'm wearing a black shirt, right? Here's your microphone with its mini cable, mini into the camera, and here is the microphone holder for the camera. Now, when you see it, it comes in, it has sort of this rubber gasket that's around it. That's to protect the camera and the device that connects it. So what you want to do to start out is you want to kind of take this gasket and turn it almost like inside out, and that exposes the part that you connect to the camera. There's sort of a deeper notch, and then you look on the top of the camera, you see it right here. Here's the microphone to the camera, the onboard microphone, and just above that is a space that it's actually covered. It's a nice little cover, a little protective cover that Sony built into the camera. You pull this back, and there you see the notch for the microphone stand. So what we can do is pull the notch back, line up all the notches and spaces on this thing, and push it forward, and it locks into the camera. Now, here's the key. You want to make sure that this little rubber gasket, or skirt, as I like to call it, is still up because if you look very, very closely, if you do this with me now, there's sort of a little, you'll see a little ring that enables you to tighten the connection of the camera to the microphone stand. So you might want to just be careful as you turn that counterclockwise if you're looking at it from the bottom of the camera. It'll click into place, and then boom, that thing is locked on there, nice and tight, and it's not going anywhere. Now, to connect the microphone to it, on the microphone you'll see very, very closely a little tiny black notch at the top of it. And if you open up the mic stand here, there's a little spot right here on the bottom. If you have it connected to the camera, you just pull this up, pull this little wire latch down, and open up this thing kind of like the hood of your car. Now, on the part closest to the hinge is the spot where this plastic notch goes, okay? So you lay the microphone in there, match up the plastic notch like so that it's kind of like that. And then you close it, take the latch, take the wire part of the latch, attach it to the plastic part on the side, and then pull down this thing, this little pull tab, and it's going to lock into place, and you'll feel it and hear it lock. Okay. Now here is your microphone cable, and you'll see this is what's called a mini. It's very, very tiny. It's just like your headphones for your iPod. But the only thing is this sends sound to an audio input. On this right side of your camera, on the same part of it that has the little hand strap here, look towards the front and you'll see a little spot that says mic plug in power, and you'll see a little headphone picture right down here. If you can look at where my index finger is, it's a little tiny door. It's kind of a pain in the neck, but all you have to do is push this little access door towards the back of the camera, and it unveils two little spots for mini cables. The red one is for your microphone, this or any microphone that has a mini out, and then the green one is for your headphones. Make sure you have a good pair of headphones, kind of like the one that you have for your iPod, MP3 player, whatever. You're going to plug this end into the red input, and boom, you've got professional looking audio on this tiny little camera. Next up for this camera is the battery. All important. It says Info Lithium V Active Force on the back, and you'll notice a little arrow, a little triangular shaped, a little triangle arrow pointing down. Pick up your camera, look on the back. You'll see underneath the manual viewfinder and the little record button is the space for the battery. And now if you look on the opposite end, you'll see the contacts for, it looks like a little grid. There's like 4 little copper contacts on the top of this battery. So what you want to do is you want to match them up with the contacts on the inside of the camera. And fortunately this thing has little notches and it's going to lock into place. So you push it in, try and match it up with the notches. It'll be about like an 1/8 of an inch little space. And then you push it up in the direction of the arrow, and you'll hear it click, just like that. To release the battery release switch is on the bottom of the camera. This is the lens facing down. You'll see it. It's right here. It says backed, and then there's the switch with the arrow pushing down. To release the battery, you just make sure you hold the battery in the camera steady, pull the release switch down, pull the battery towards the bottom of the camera, and it comes right off. Back on, match it up, you'll push it forward, and you hear the little click, and now your battery's on. When you first get the camera, the battery's not charged, so we're going to have to charge this thing up. Here's your AC adapter. It may or may not come in 2 pieces. The one part that plugs into the wall in your home, that can come apart, and you can disassemble it. It kind of looks like this. Here's the plug for your wall.